after an incredibly crazy series of events that have occurred and led me to filming this video today, which I explained in my last video. I'm here to bring you a very, very, very special, unique experience, one that I can guarantee you probably never seen on YouTube before, and that is a one-on-one guide of how to be confident and fully love yourself, brought to you by yours truly, along with my 14-year-old self. Last night, I stumbled upon this raw, unedited footage in my Google Photos, an untouched but perfectly kept video from me at 14 explaining how to be confident and how to fully love yourself. And I was so blown away watching the footage back that I knew that it was time to share it, and share it in a way that was meaningful and authentic and beautiful. With that being said, you're going to be seeing a flip back and forth of me today with me 6 years ago, with, of course, my new and improved thoughts and comments and additions to the very valid and wise information that I shared all that time ago. So I really hope you enjoy. Thank you for being here and supporting my channel, supporting my journey. This is definitely very, very close to my heart. And with that being said, I hope you enjoy. Oh my god, I can't believe I'm playing this video right now. Hey guys, it's Brie here. Welcome to or back to my channel, and for today's video we're going to be talking about a very touchy subject for a lot of people, and that is confidence and self-love. It's something that we all want to have, and we all want to be able to love ourselves and be happy with who we are and wake up in the morning and be like, damn, I don't care what people think and I look good. But when you're a confident person and when you love yourself, you're not gonna look at the negative things about yourself that you don't like. You're gonna pay attention to the things that you do like about yourself, and you're gonna feel good about yourself, and you're gonna be happy. The first thing I want to talk about is knowing the difference between being confident and being cocky. A lot of people see being confident and cocky as the same thing, or get confused when they're comparing the two. When you're confident, that means that you love yourself. That is not a cocky thing to say, because quite frankly, we all should love ourselves, because that's all we have. Being confident means you accept yourself, you're happy with who you are, and you focus on the positive things that you have to offer. Although that was a great definition of confidence, I'd like to add to that, because for me, confidence truly means self-assurance. It's an inner knowing and having a firm, positive view on who you are. You often will hear somebody say, are you willing to bet your life on that? If somebody is confident in something. And if they are, they'll confidently say yes, because they know without a doubt that this is true in their reality, that this is a truth in their life. And so to be confident in yourself, you have to be able to bet your life on the fact that you're a beautiful person, that you're kind, that you're graceful, that you're loving. Whatever it is that you want to be the main determining factors of who you are, you have to be sure of that. And you have to know that. And it has to be something that you decide, not anyone else, because you'll never be confident, or you'll never have that self-assurance, in other words, if you're waiting and questioning and asking other people to determine what makes you you. When you're cocky, that means you're constantly bragging about yourself. Also, you're putting yourself on a pedestal and you're saying, I'm better than you, I'm superior, and all of you are down here. So I'm gonna give you guys an example. Whenever someone would give me a compliment, I would feel like I was put in an awkward position, because I didn't want to sound cocky when I was responding to their compliment, but also I didn't want to be like, oh no, like don't say that, because that is not good for my own self-esteem. So if someone says, oh, I like your hair, do not think that it is cocky to say, thank you, I took the time to work on my hair and I actually like how it looks too. Compliments are truly one of the most beautiful indicators of humanhood and personhood and womankind and what it means to be human, or the best of this human experience. Because what I've realized is compliments are a sign of your own positive energy. And this is something I really truly learned from my own personal life experience. Although obviously my lifestyle and my day-to-day day was a lot different in high school. I remember being in high school and getting bullied quite a lot, or just having a lot of people gossip about me or say negative things. And I began to have a cold or closed off or pessimistic internal attitude towards making girlfriends, meeting new people, based on the pattern of what I was seeing in my external reality. Was led to believe that I'm not going to be able to make meaningful, lasting, positive girl relationships, or I'm not going to be able to meet a girl who doesn't have some like catty jealousy, competition, gossip nature with me. I just naturally, when I was out, wasn't really attracting very lively, beautiful, kind individual souls, and I wasn't getting a lot of compliments. I wasn't feeling like I was being approached a lot, whether that was like romantically or not, doesn't matter. I just felt like, again, I was energetically shut off, and that's something that people can read, because your energy is what speaks for you before you enter any room, before you say any words. We all have this intuitive download and this intuitive language that we speak. And so when I began university, and when I began being downtown every day in the city and just working more on myself and trying to be more open so that I could be open to even meeting new girlfriends when I was on campus and whatnot, and just making peace with the fact that, you know what, like I'm good with myself and I love myself, so I'm not afraid to really put myself out there, because I'm not afraid of getting hurt, because I know that I'm all I need and I'm whole in myself, so anything else is just an addition. So I began to just want to give out that kindness, that positive, loving energy as much as I could, and I found that one of the easiest ways to do that was compliments. So I made this rule with myself: I'm going to compliment 3 people each time I go out downtown. And as I began to do that, it became so addicting. I never, ever, ever just did 3. I probably did upwards of 20 in a day. It just felt so good. Like, it's one of the most positive, ecstatic, good feelings. You know what I mean? Interacting with people in that way. And so my modified rule now is just to never keep a positive thought to myself, whether it's I like her shoes, or she has a beautiful smile, or you seem like you're a very good soul. Like, I just really do my best to never keep a positive thought to myself. And so this is something that I started years ago, and I've continued doing now because I love it and it makes me feel so good again, but also just because I believe that that compliment or that thought was placed in my heart for a reason, and I'll never know what that other person may be going through. It costs $0. It's literally 1 minute of your time, and I think it just really brings us back to what it means, again, to be human. We all are one and connected. And as I was sitting down to kind of reflect on all of the touch points I wanted to add to this video, I really noticed that it was only when I started complimenting so many people all the time that I feel like now I'm just like a waterfall, you know? I get showered with compliments all the time from just these beautiful, wonderful, kind people. And a lot of the time, it's not something I start or initiate. It's just these people, and I'm feeling it in my heart now, who are just so kind and genuinely want to make my day, or tell me I'm beautiful, or I have a great smile, or I love your outfit, or whatever it is. Just like getting showered, absolutely showered with compliments anytime I go out, anytime I'm with my girlfriends for a night out, or, you know, I'm around the city, just whatever the case may be, just like literally feeling so much love from people, and it fills me with so much gratitude. But I truly think it's because of a testament to who I am as a person. I, as an individual, have done my best to give out and share nothing but love and positive energy out into the world, and so the world is a reflection of my thoughts and my most prevalent and prominent behaviors, and so that's what gets reflected back to me. Another beautiful way of thinking of that too is I've spent so much time over the past few years really learning and loving and embracing and cultivating this very specific image of what my highest self looks like, what the most beautiful version of myself looks like, the version who loves myself the most, and just really getting clear on what she looks like physically, how she does her hair and her makeup and her outfits, and how she really self-expresses in those rituals of self-love and devotion. And so a lot of the things I'll get complimented on now are things that I've really been consistent and persistent with telling myself. And again, like I feel it in my heart right now, but just like all of the meditations, all of the scripting and the journaling and the I ams and the mirror work saying I am beautiful and I'm so grateful to have this facial feature or have this look, and I'll have people complimenting these very specific and niche things about my physical appearance. And these are things that I didn't have before because I didn't
look the way I did before. You know what I mean? So it's just like, there's no way that these people would give me those compliments if that was not something that I manifested and made a very firm and clear intention with in my own life. And so I think compliments are just the most beautiful reflection of the greatest parts of ourselves. You know, when we admire something in someone else, it's really just a reflection of our own beauty and our own love within ourselves. And so when you look at it like that, and when you recognize how much positive impact that it has, you just want to shower everyone with love, and then it will come back to you tenfold. Truly, it will come back to you tenfold. And I've really now, again, sitting down, just reflecting on all of these topics, realized how much compliments have been a pinpoint for my growth as an individual, both in my personal life, in my journey of self-love and acceptance and confidence and being the version of myself I want to be, but also in the ways that I meet people on the street that I just hit it off with like this and are just so kind and match my energy. Really, like, that's the best word I can describe it. Like, I'm meeting these people and I'm like, how are we so aligned? It's like, because I'm aligned on the inside, babe, you know, and I manifest and I attract that, and it's in harmony with who I am.
If I were to go up to someone and say, oh my god, look at my hair, like it looks so good, like my hair looks better than yours, that's being cocky. But if someone compliments you and you're just simply saying thank you, that is not being cocky. Because if I were to respond to that compliment and say, oh no, don't say that, like my hair doesn't look that good, that is putting negative energy into the universe that you do not need. I am a strong believer in mind over matter and having a great mindset. I always try to have a good mindset for whatever the occasion is. And when you are saying something negative, no matter what it may be, if it's about yourself, if it's about your friend, if it's about some girl that you don't even talk to, that is all negative energy that is going to be put in the universe and then eventually feed on you and make yourself seem way, way, way worse.
I want you to get in the habit of viewing yourself and thinking of yourself as a vessel or a sacred temple. And that vessel carries a certain electromagnetic frequency. And that's a frequency that pushes beyond your body and goes outward. You have a certain energy field that carries around you. And in order to sustain that certain energy, your brain and your body need to carry a consistent type of information, meaning that the wired connections in your brain that are based on elevated emotions you felt and clear intentions you've made, or in other words, again, memories you carry, the strongest memories you carry, all point to believing a certain thing which holds that certain vibration. If you're in the vibration of negative energy, your brain is only going to be looking for and choosing the negative aspects of your day-to-day life, or the negative bits of information it receives. It's going to find and remember the negative one that carries this vibration. That also means that when your brain is nitpicking the information it receives, that also means that the information your brain receives is also going to be attracting the friends you have in your life, the opportunities you have in your life, the relationships you have in your life. A great example of this is like somebody that believes they're just not lucky. Like, if you're having a bad day, that one thing is gonna make it worse to tip it off, and they're gonna say, oh, this always happens to me. The light always turns red when I'm running late, and I always spill coffee on my white shirt, and I can never have good things in life because I always break them. That language is exactly the type of language that's going to fuel the type of experiences that your brain picks for you to experience in your reality. And unless you have that awareness of your consistent thoughts, you're living your life on autopilot. You're thinking that this is just the way it is for you, when really your brain is controlling that narrative for you.
It is scientifically proven that the 3 people you hang out with the most are the people you are going to act like the most. If I hang out with people that are bad influences and they're drama and they're toxic and they're not good for me whatsoever, I am going to turn into a negative person. Trust me, you will feel so much better when you cut those negative people out of your life. Just know that a real friend should never talk shit about you, say things about you behind your back. They would never betray your friendship. They would never try to bring you down when you have something coming for you. They would never get jealous of you. negatively, they would never exclude you, or they would never do all these mean things that a, let's say, bully would do. A real friend would never do that. And honestly, if you just think about it like a negative person, negative impact, negative life. Cutting negative people out of your life will help you so much in your confidence in who you are as a person. And you don't have to go pick a fight with them. You don't have to start things. You literally just have to keep quiet, have some sort of moral support, and let them do their thing. Don't engage with them. Don't bring them the attention that they're looking for, because that's all they're looking for. They want you to get upset and they want you to engage in their negativity.
So when it comes to cutting out things from your life, that also goes for cutting out the things that no longer serve you. That means it also goes for cutting out negative habits, thought patterns, behaviors, and reasons why you feel like you have to keep being friends with this person even though you know they're not good for you. The reasons why you feel like you have to stay at this job because it's safety, it's security, even though you know you're meant for greatness. It means cutting out the reasons why you tell yourself you can't, that you're not good enough, that you're not ready, that it's not the right time. Cutting out means detoxing, means clearing, means resetting the framework that lives within your brain, expanding the box of your limited consciousness, expanding the box to think beyond what you're thinking right now, because your thoughts are very limited. If you actually took the time to look at the rules and regulations and the beliefs that you have in place for your life, you'll realize how limiting they are in comparison to the power you hold as a human being, the power of your mind, the power of your subconscious, the power of heart-brain coherence, the power of your soul. It's crazy. So do yourself a favor and go inward. Cut out all of the lifestyle habits that do not align with the most confident version of you. And then ask yourself, why are they here now? Why am I acting this way in the first place? And then go ahead and ask yourself why they're affecting your life now. Remove and replace these patterns with the thoughts and behaviors the most aligned version of yourself would have until that becomes your new normal. My camera did in fact die when I was filming this video in my black tops. We were back for a third version of me to give you some confidence tips. With that being said, do not engage. What I love about this clip is it's me literally explaining the Let Them theory by Mel Robbins before that was ever a concept or a book. But the incredible combo of letting them and letting me is simply the firm choice of no longer entertaining what is not in harmony with your goals and your values.
What you say about others is a reflection of yourself. If you love yourself and you are a confident person, you should not feel the need to talk about others behind their back and say negative things about them.
If there's one thing that has truly been solidified for me after all of these years of navigating this topic, it's that the only people who judge others for their radiance are the ones who are threatened or jealous of your confidence. They do a beautiful job of projecting their insecurities onto you because in their world, they do not believe it's possible for someone to fully love themselves, to publicly embrace and accept themselves. In their reality, they don't know what it means to be confident and authentic and self-accepting. In their mind, they don't believe that's possible for somebody. So when they encounter what could be the physical manifestation of that, it quite literally threatens all that they know in their reality to be true. If their ego knows and believes that confidence is not something that's curated from the inside, then they have no choice but to reject the physical projection of that, because otherwise it means that the personal reality or the personality that your ego has built for yourself is wrong. And if there's one thing the ego hates, it's to be wrong. It believes it knows everything because it's trying to keep you safe or very well stuck in this box of this continuous stagnant way of thinking, this closed-mindedness. So unless a person is truly open-minded, willing to change, willing to question what they believe they know about themselves, about their life, about the reality they live, about others, then they're going to reject a confident person and label them as cocky. They have to. Or else the narrative they've built their life on is forced to be proven false. And like I said, that causes an identity crisis to the ego. In other words, don't ever be afraid to trigger the people that are so stuck in their own conditionings if it means that you can authentically live in yours.
The next thing that I want to touch on is competition and comparing. I know so many people who go on Instagram and say, oh my god, if only I had her body, or if only I had her hair, or if only I looked like that with no makeup on. You should not compare yourselves to others because we are all different. Point blank. So when you're comparing yourself to another person, you're comparing yourself to the impossible because you can never be someone else. You can only be yourself and improve yourself. You can only be a better you, which is why the only person you should be comparing yourself to is yourself. I compare myself all the time. I don't look at a girl's body and say, oh my god, if only I killed for her body. I'm gonna say, wow, I really like her body, and if I'm not okay with mine, I'll say, you know what? I'm going to work to get to where I want to be. I'm going to make myself a better version, not say I'm gonna be like her. I'm gonna say I'm gonna make myself a better version so I feel the way about my body that I do about her body. Instead of me comparing myself and bringing myself down because this person looks like this, I'm gonna look at that picture and say I want to do better for myself and I want to make myself better, so I'm gonna compare myself to today from yesterday. I'm gonna say, what did I do yesterday to better myself today?
You can be anybody you want to be. There are no predetermined rules that say you have to be the person you are right now, but rather only a compilation of well-believed rules and conditionings, forces that have affected you.
This is also the same idea, but if you try and impress others, you'll never win because we all see beauty differently. Every single person has a different perspective on what beautiful is. I may think that blonde hair is beautiful and I wish I had gray eyes, but this person might say, I think that black hair is the most beautiful and brown eyes the most beautiful. How am I going to impress a guy that thinks that black hair is the most beautiful when I want blonde hair and gray eyes? Only do what makes you happy and what will lift up your self-esteem for yourself.
We are all seeing beauty from the version of our personal reality. Or in other words, it is the trait of our personality that decides what we think is the best or most attractive woman or man or features on a woman or man. With that being said though, there are certain things that have been scientifically and psychologically proven that objectively we as humans find attractive. And no, it's not things like having blonde hair or blue eyes. It's things like symmetry in the face, or from a more mathematical perspective, what we call the golden ratio. It could also be how average looking someone's face is. It is for this reason that we could find someone with red hair, fair skin, and freckles very beautiful, but also someone with really dark, rich skin and beautiful curly hair. While they look nothing alike, and while our personal preferences and specific features may vary, there are certain objective traits that we could pinpoint in both of these individuals that make us say, yeah, these are both beautiful people. So if we are striving to fit a very niche, very narrow, very specific image of someone else's idea of beauty, we're never going to be happy, we're never going to be most authentic, and we're never going to meet the standard that is their top ideal of beauty, because what even is that? You know what I mean? That's not something that can ever be achieved or attainable. And so the only person I want you to compare yourself to is you yesterday and the day before that. The other timeline versions of you, the past versions of you, the versions versions of you that are on a lower or higher frequency, and you should always be striving to be the best version of you on the higher frequency. And naturally, the version of you that you take more care of, that is more nurtured and loved and healed, is going to be the version of you that shows up more beautiful, not only from a physical perspective, but an energetic perspective. And thus, you become the most confident version of yourself because you are sure and taking care of the vessel that you call your home, your body, the only thing that you have guaranteed in this life.
Like I said before, you should only boost others up rather than bring them down, because negativity is only going to make you feel worse about yourself and better. When you are having positive mindsets and positive things being said about you and positive things that you say about others, then you will eventually get to a point where you feel positively about yourself 100%. Appreciate others' beauty rather than being jealous. There are 100 million girls in this world that are pretty. You can take inspiration from people, you can admire people, but you can't compare and bring yourself down because another person is on top of you. Which is why instead of me comparing someone that is better than me, I should compare me to me. And instead of being jealous and comparing myself to others, I'll use that negativity or jealousy to boost me up. Anything that can be turned negative about other people or about myself that people are saying about me, I use that as motivation to bring myself up. I always turn something negative into something positive, and I always use that inspiration or negativity to drive me to go somewhere that I want to be. Confidence does not come overnight. It does take time to get to a place in your life where you want to be, and that does not mean whatsoever that you should try for a month and give up, because it might not take a month, it might take 3 months, it might take a year, it might take 5 years. So you have to be persistent and not give up on this kind of thing. You have to look at yourself in the mirror, like legitimately look at yourself, and instead of saying I hate my lips, you have to say maybe I don't like my lips, but I like this about myself, or I love my lips. I don't care what people say about this, I love this. Turn the negative into a positive, whether that's changing the compliment about yourself or changing the way you see the thing about yourself, which also leads to the more you see or say something, the more you'll believe it. Which is why I'm saying to go say these things. The more you say something or see something and engrave it in your brain, the more you're going to believe it over time.
You have to start thinking of confidence as an asset, because really, that's exactly what it is. And it's not just emotionally, it's energetically, neurologically, spiritually, and materially. When you rewire your confidence, you don't just change how you feel, you change what you see, what you allow, and what you attract. In neuroscience, there is something called the reticular activating system, which is your brain's internal filter. Think of the same way when you open a social media app or are online shopping. You can press the filter button to weave out all the type of content or clothing you don't like to see, and you can begin to specifically look for a certain size or a certain color of something or a certain type of lifestyle content, for example. That is what the reticular activating system is for your brain. It filters out information. And the craziest thing, just like your social media platforms or just like your online shopping website, this system listens to you. So if you tell it, I'm not good enough, it will filter the entire world to find proof of that. I want you to guess just how many bits of information our brain receives in a single second. Take a guess. Got your number? I promise you, you can times that by 100 and still not be close, because our brain receives 11 million bits of information per second. That is not even a number we can comprehend. That's how much information we are constantly being exposed to. However, guess how many bits of information actually get processed through our brain? 50. Out of 11 million bits of information every single second, our brain carefully chooses 50 of them to process. Now, logically speaking, I think it's very clear to see now why our brain will choose repeating patterns to process when it comes to the 50 bits of information it chooses to work with. It's your brain's way of trying to find shortcuts to connect the dots together and illustrate a full picture for you when you're perceiving your reality. So with that being said, if you train your brain to believe, I am radiant, I am good enough, I'm worthy, I'm magnetic, I'm deserving, it will reflect just that. Your brain will begin to reorient your entire reality to reflect that truth. So I mean it when I say confidence literally changes your vision. And it doesn't stop there, because confidence activates your self-efficiency, your belief in your power to create change. The more you believe you can create change in your life, the more actions you will take to create that change. The more action you take, the more results you get. That, my love, is not delusion. That's neuroplasticity. Confidence builds itself through proof, but it begins with a choice, long before the evidence is visible. Which is why when you listen to manifestation experts, people like Joe Dispenza, the first thing they will tell you is it starts with a clear intention, the active choice to choose a path, choosing to be a certain type of person. And then the results will follow. You have to teach your brain what a certain reality feels like internally before you begin to see that physically. Remember what I said about the 50 bits of information processing. It takes time to reprogram your brain to start looking at different bits of information to create a different picturesque reality for yourself. And spiritually, just like everything else, confidence is a frequency. And your frequency is your currency. It's the energy you exchange with the world. And the truth is, we don't attract what we want. We attract who we are. So when you walk with certainty, when you talk with self-trust, when you rest without guilt and receive without shame, the universe recognizes that as a green light. Because what your subconscious believes you deserve is exactly what you magnetize. And so it's not just about how you feel, it's about what you allow into your space. A confident woman doesn't just walk differently. She decides differently. She sets higher standards. She says no without fear. She takes up space without apologizing. She doesn't seek to be chosen. She chooses herself over and over until the world reflects that choice back to her. That is when things start to change. That's when people start complimenting you on things you've affirmed in silence. That's when the mirror work turns into real world reflection. That is when your energy becomes contagious. We have mirror neurons for a reason. People mirror what you embody. If you walk into a room with radiant self-worth, the world reflects that frequency back to you. And yes, some people will reject it. Some people will say you're cocky. That's okay. What they're really saying is you threaten what I believe is possible. Because if your confidence is real, then they have to question why they ever shrank themselves. And that's not your burden to carry. So let your light trigger their shadows. Let your joy challenge their limits. Let your power speak silently in the way you simply exist. Confidence isn't loud. It doesn't need to be. It's the stillness in your voice when you say, that's not for me. It's the softness in your eyes when you choose not to react. It's the clarity in your energy when you know what you're building, who you are, and what you're no longer available for. I love you 224. Thank you for being here and sharing your energy with me. What an incredible, beautiful, fun video to film. I know it took some time and I know it took some camera setups and different days, but I truly hope you enjoyed and found it entertaining with, you know, the change in me's on the screen. And as always, I will see you in the next one.